Dr. David Clark.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. What a difference 1 year makes. What a difference. PPP used to mean something different to the National Party. It was the holy grail of government intervention. Think Sky City gambling deals. Think Nova Pay streamlining. But they were just a glimpse of a promised future holy land. When government partners with the private sector, anything is possible. Just ask the IRD. But don't get me wrong, Mr. Speaker, Labor is not averse to partnering with the private sector. We've done it before and we'll do it again. You just won't see the same kind of excited dribbling every time the term is raised. But, Mr. Speaker, what a difference a year makes. In the National Party, PPP has taken on quite a different meaning. Members around the House have probably heard National Party backbenchers breathlessly whispering about PPPs in the corridors and in the select committees. The National Party's PPPs are on every backbencher's list right now. Because of the National Party's usual excitement about privatising gains and socialising losses, I gave these hushed PPP whispers little breach at first. But they persisted, Mr. Speaker. They have persisted. What is this new PPP the National backbenchers are so obsessed with? What is this buzz around the beehive? I considered it must be some scandal. So I gave it some thought. Could it be a new scandal around Pansy Wong, about which we didn't yet know, after she used her parliamentary funding for her husband's private business trips? TPPP. Travelling with partner for private profit, perhaps. It seemed unlikely. Could it be a new scandal around Richard Worth? Something about text messaging. Rumours about piquant private pictures abound. Or was it a new revelation about Phil Heatley and the publicly funded Pinot payout? Still more rumours were doing the rounds. PPPs were everywhere I looked. The National Party is full of gossip and backstabbing these days. I can hear it coming from opposite now, but I easily dismissed the next two rumours. That Aaron Gilmore was a pathetic piss prick was hardly news. Private purchases using public funds seemed to fit the National Party mantra, but Claudette credit card hoiti didn't seem to have the heft to be at the centre of so much breathlessness, Mr. Speaker. So I dismissed that straight away. Then it dawned on me. Maybe it was a reference to the Stadler and Waldorf of the National Party backbenchers. There they are over there. Perhaps their coup planning was about to have its payday. Maurice Williamson, the police phoning politician, might be involved. Maybe the PPP whispers related instead to the ascension of his benchmate, the original PPP, the private business poobah of Peking. But still I wasn't sure. What I found out though, Mr. Speaker, after extensive research is this. Not everyone at home will know it yet, but I can disclose to the public watching this debate today that when the National Party talks about PPPs, they are in fact talking about post-ponytail polling, Mr. Speaker. In the National Caucus, they've seen the PPPs, the post-ponytail polls, and I can see it by looking across the House. They're lining up to replace John Key across the House there. His credibility has been dented once too often. The Teflon is gone. And I hear them crying out, Judith would be better. It's coming from across the House. They know around the House that the internal squabbles eloquently captured in every movement of Judith Collins' nubile eyebrows is costing them. They know that the public of New Zealand is losing trust in the empty promises of the government, and they recognise a government that has lost touch, that looks tired, that looks arrogant. This is a government riven by internal divisions, Mr. Speaker, a government that has broken its economic promise of a surplus. It's a government that is now hosing down its promise to deliver wage rises to workers. It's a government that is failing, Mr. Speaker. Now their focus has fallen on the internal PPP. What a difference 1 year makes. Running into the last election, we saw a government wading through a quagmire of scandals. The dirty politics revelations showed John Key's office was intimately involved in smear campaigns and treachery. But John Key stood to one side and he said, "It has nothing to do with me. I couldn't possibly know what was happening in my office. I have no responsibility for it." That is what he said then. He said there is nothing to see here. But all of this has changed, Mr. Speaker. Since the election, The dirty politics revelations have proved themselves correct. The tactics of deceit have continued. They can no longer be ignored.
Order.